Hey, family and friends, let's pause for a quick heart-to-heart that I believe will bless you. God's grace isn't earned, it's given. No matter your mistakes, His mercy meets you fresh every morning. You're never too far gone for His help. If these videos are blessing you, show some love. With a like, drop a comment about God's grace in your life, subscribe to stay connected, and share this blessing with others. I want to thank you for all your support. I really appreciate you. Now, let's dive into it. A few minutes for us underdogs and strugglers in the Bible. My name is Tony Lewis, and here I'm again, y'all. And it's my plum-pleasing pleasure, as usual, to share with you today a few minutes for us. The U is for underdogs, and the S is for strugglers in the Bible. Let me tell you about the 36th biblical character we will look at today. It's Samson. Samson, that strong dude. That strong muscle dude. He served a strength supplying God. He served a strength supplying God. Let me tell you about his story. It's in Judges chapters 13 through 16. Samson was a strong servant chosen by God before birth. He was set apart as a Nazarite, meant to live holy, humble, and honest by God's hand. His strength was supernatural. It was a sign of the Spirit's power resting on him. He was supernaturally strong through the Spirit and sanctified hair. He was called to save his people from the Philistines, the enemies who oppressed Israel. God gave him muscles for his mission and power for his purpose, to protect and deliver God's people. Check it out. Oh, it's a good one, y'all. Let me tell you about Samson's struggle. Samson's downfall came through distraction, disobedience, and desire. He was strong in body, but soft in boundaries. He played with temptation and flirted with failure. His passion for pleasure pulled him away from his purpose in God. Who am I talking to? He was stirred by self-will, not always spirit-led. He strayed from God's standards, seeking sensual satisfaction. He shared his secret strength with Delilah. He sold him out for silver. She did what? She was a bad sister. His head was shaved, his hands were shackled, and his heart felt shame. My goodness. He lost his strength and he lost his sight. His spirit was low and he lost his glow. Let me tell you about this strong man's success. He remembered God. He repented and requested one last chance. In his final moments, Samson prayed for strength. Once more, not for fame, but for faithfulness. Don't you give up. Give in to God. His surrender sparked strength and the Spirit returned. His hair grew and so did his hope. God restored his power and redeemed his purpose. Won't he do it? Won't he do it? He pushed the pillars and pulled down pride and proved God's presence was still with him. Even in death, he defeated more enemies than he had in life. His failure didn't end his faith. It fulfilled God's plan. Let me say that again. His failure didn't end his faith. It fulfilled God's plan. But what's the lesson? What's the lesson? God can still use flawed vessels to accomplish mighty victories. God can still use flawed vessels to accomplish mighty victories. So remember, when you struggle like Samson and stumble when distraction desire and disobedience dominates your direction, when you're distracted and lose your calling, chasing comfort, clicks, and chemistry instead of character, when you looked for pleasure instead of purpose and lost your power, when your desire is stronger for man or for a woman, but weak for wisdom, when you mistook passion for partnership and lust for love, when you desired railroad your discernment and drain your destiny, when your disobedience plays with sin, thinking you can manage it, but sin manages you. Let me say that again. When your disobedience plays with sin, thinking you can manage it, but sin manages you. Who am I talking to? I know I can relate to that. When we touch what God told us to avoid, we trade power for pain. Lord have mercy. When your job becomes your idol, you risk losing your joy. When your joy or scream becomes your satisfaction, you risk losing your sight of God. When your relationships rule your reasoning, you risk losing your spiritual roots. But remember, when you succeed like Samson, and God's grace has given you another grip, even when guilt tried to get the last word. When renewal returns and you've called on God from your lowest point and his presence meets you at ground zero, and he grows grace in your greatest grief. He grows grace in your greatest grief. Ain't he good, y'all? When you've repented and God has restored your reputation, and God's mercy has regrown what sin shaved off. Lord have mercy. When redemption reigns and your failures are fueling your final victory. When your faith refocuses on the Lord Jesus, and he has given you power to fulfill your purpose again, and he has turned your mess into ministry and your defeat into destiny. I know about that. It's real, y'all. But remember the lesson. God can still use flawed vessels to accomplish mighty victories. God can still use flawed vessels to accomplish mighty victories. To God be the glory. I'm out, y'all.